Hey all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin and today I am filming my November TBR. So I just wanted to kick off this TBR with a tiny little life update. In case you can't tell by my background, I am filming this pretty early in October. It's only like the 18th today, but I wanted to get this TBR filmed right away because I'm having a really good day today. I have recently been dealing with a chronic illness flare, and so I've started some new medications and I have a procedure coming up and stuff like that. And so I wanted to take advantage of this good day because I don't really know how the rest of the month is going to go, and I knew I wanted to get this TBR up because I have some reading plans in November and I really like picking my challenge prompts and things like that. So I wanted to get this filmed right away in case the month takes a turn. I just wanted to let you know that's why it still looks like Halloween. By the time that this goes up, it will be like the last day of October. So we're gonna start this by filling up my TBR cart, and then I'm gonna go through some of the reading plans and stuff that I have for the month of November. Then we're gonna get right into pulling the prompts. So let's go fill up my TBR cart. Okay, so I tried to adjust the angle so you can at least partially see my TBR cart here. So I have essentially 2 layers of books for me to choose from. Like always, I will be picking prompts out of my TBR jar, but just a quick note for like kind of my plan for November and December is I am trying to essentially catch up and close out a lot of things for 2021. So rather than seasonally reading or anything like that, I have a whole bunch of books here that are like the last books in series or are arcs that I had that I never got to, as well as a couple of rereads and things like that that I had meant to read and like in preparation for the next book, and I just haven't gotten to yet. So like I have The Beautiful on here as well as The Damned because The Righteous comes out and I do want to read that when it's released. So I have a lot of things that I just kind of want to close out. So that is my plan for November, December. I have my TBR cart filled with that. I have my computer off to the side, as well as a list of my November review books. So I'm thinking I'm going to pick about 8 prompts this month. We'll see what books I end up with and if I want to adjust that. But right now I'm thinking 8 because I have not done well with my October TBR. I don't think I've read anything off of it. I read a ton during the Paranormal Romance Readathon, and then I pretty much haven't finished a book since. So we're going to pick 8 books and hope that November goes better than October reading wise, but no promises. So let's just get right into picking the prompts. Prompt number 1, I did switch out some prompts. Like I took out all the ones that were October specific and then put in a couple of new ones. So maybe we'll get some fun new prompts. But this one is a new author. So this is a new to me author or a debut author. So for a new author, I am going to go with The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. This is not only a book that I had for review, but this is the Literally Dead Book Club pick for November. And it's also one of my most anticipated releases of the entire year. It is a gothic novel that follows a woman who enters into a marriage of convenience with this, I think he's like a doctor. Yes, he is a reclusive doctor. And all I really know about it is they enter into this marriage of convenience, but the one rule for their marriage is she is never allowed to go to this specific manor of his. But on this dark, stormy night, she flees to the manor. And when she arrives there, she finds her husband changed. And it is kind of her unraveling what the secrets of this manor and the secrets of her husband are. And it just sounds creepy and ominous. And I am really excited. I've heard great things about this author. This cover is amazing. I'm obsessed with this cover. So yeah, Literally Dead Book Club pick. A arc that I never got to, review book, this fits everything that I wanted for November. So this is the first book on the TBR. And then prompt number 2 is, just mixing them up. Let's go with this one. And this one is a paperback. Okay, so for paperback, this is actually a placeholder. I have Well Played here. The book that I'm hoping to put on this TBR is Well Matched by Jen DeLuca, which is the 3rd and final book in this series. So again, it's a book that I had as an arc. It is a final book in a series. So this really encompasses everything that I want to read in November. I'm going to put the actual cover up here for Well Matched. So all I know about this one is it is the romance of the sister that we met in book 1 and I believe the last friend and their little friend group, I am blanking on everyone's names. I believe the sister's name is April. All I know about it is set in the same world, it follows the same characters, and I assume we're going to be back at the Ren Fair. And that's really all I know about it. I think the series is really adorable, and I just kind of want to close out the series and see how much I liked it. I really liked book 1. Book 2 wasn't my favorite, but I'm hoping I love book 3 because I do love these 2 characters. So this is the next book on the TBR. Prompt number 3. I'm realizing now that I haven't been doing a good job of talking about all the synopses, but I'll try to do that for the rest. So prompt number 3 is this one, and it is a TBR vet. I don't have strict rules for any of these, so it's not like, oh, it has to be on my TBR for, X number of years or whatever. It's just something that's kind of been sitting on my TBR for a while, and I can interpret that any way I want. I think the one I'm going to go with is one that I've put on 9 million TBRs this year and just haven't gotten to, and that is An Unexpected Peril by Deanna Raybourn. This is the 6th book in the Veronica Speedwell series. This has been on so many TBRs, and for whatever reason, I just keep putting it off. I had started this back in like April-ish, and I tried listening to it on audio, and I just kind of found that I'm not a big fan of the audiobooks for this series. I prefer them physically. So I am going to pick this back up. This one in particular is following Veronica and Stoker as they are trying to uncover the possible murder of a mountaineer, and that's really all I know. I only got like maybe 50 pages or so into this, and they were just starting to discuss the mystery element. So I am just going to pick back up from the beginning. And yeah, this has been on my TBR since, well, it's been on my like Goodreads TBR for at least a year, but this has been like on my physical TBR cart here since March. So I'm gonna call it a vet. Prompt number 4 is, let's mix these up. Let's go with this one. And this one is a light colored cover. Let's see. Most of these are actually really dark covers. Like all of these are really, they're like black and blue and stuff. Even this one, which looks like it would be white, has a has a black cover. Let's see. I can't remember if the sequel to this one has a bright colored cover. Yeah, so for this one, I am going to go with the sequel to this, and that is An Heiress's Guide to Deception and Desire. This has this really pretty pink cover. This book follows a woman who works for a newspaper, and she is trying to figure out what is going on with these murders, and she kind of keeps getting in the way of this investigation. And so the investigator and her end up having to team up and try to figure out who is murdering people. And this sequel is following the heroine in here. It's like her coworker or something like that. They work together at the newspaper. And so this is following her romance. I have no idea with who, but I do have an arc of this. It comes out on the 16th, so I really want to get to this one. Instead of always catching up on arcs, maybe get one reviewed in time for its release. Prompt number 5 is, let's go with, oh gosh, I have like a million of them in my hand, is this one. This is one of the new prompts, and it is a cover that you don't like. Okay, so this was actually pretty difficult to find. I am not that particular about covers. There's very few covers that I like look at and I'm like, wow, that is atrocious. So I just kind of picked one that I don't love. And this doesn't entirely fit what I'm going for November. It is an arc that I have, but it doesn't come out until January. But I decided to go with it, 1, because it fits the prompt, and 2, it comes out on the 4th of January, and I have a lot of arcs already for the 4th of January, so I kind of want to get a head start on them. And this is When You Get a Chance by Emma Lord. I have read all of Emma Lord's books up until now, and this is easily my least favorite cover. It just doesn't do anything for me. Like the colors are nice and stuff, but it looks so generic. Like I don't really get a good sense of what this book is about other than it's a YA book. That's what I'm going to go with for this prompt. This one is about a teenage girl who dreams of being a Broadway star, and I believe she goes to New York to be part of some program or something like that. And she has a romance with a boy. That's really all I know. Like I said, I read all of Emma Lord's books and I really like them. I am usually not a big fan of like books about famous people and like acting and stuff like that, but I really like Emma Lord's writing, so I will pretty much always request and read her books. So that's what I'm going to go for this prompt. Prompt number 6 is, Let's go with this one. And this one is to pick a book for the Buzzwordathon. And I believe November's is it Lost? Let me double check this. Yeah, so November's prompt is Lost. And I actually don't know if I have any on my TBR, so let me check that. Okay, so I just checked my Goodreads and I only have 3 books that have the word lost in it that I have unread, and I don't actually own any of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace this prompt, and I will pick 9 prompts instead of 8 as my like punishment for not doing a prompt. But I don't have any books this month, and I'm not going to add something just for the sake of adding it. So we're going to put this one off to the side and instead pick 9 prompts. So prompt number, what was this? 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, prompt number 6 again is a contemporary book. And for contemporary, I am going to go with the other Denise Williams book, and that is The Fastest Way to Fall. And this is her sophomore novel, and this is following a plus-size heroine who has a romance with her personal trainer. And that was all I needed to know to get excited about it. This is one of my favorite books from last year, so I'm so excited to read another book from this author. And her premises are just so cute and kind of different takes on, I don't know, romance. I don't know. I've never read this premise before, and I'm really excited. So that is what I'm going to go for contemporary. Prompt number 7 is, let's go with this one. And this one is to read a queer LGBTQIA plus book, and I definitely have lots of those. And for this one, I am going to go with A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. I am not entirely sure on that last name. I will have to listen to the audiobook, beginning once I can to see how to pronounce this author's last name. But this is a male-male historical fantasy romance, if I'm not mistaken. We are following this main character who is a human, and he is accidentally tasked with being like an ambassador to work with this secret magician society. And because of that, he figures out that magic and witches and all this stuff are real. And he has an enemies to lovers romance with the person that he is supposed to be working with, who is a magician or wizard, or I can't remember what term they use, but he has magic. And that's all I know about this. Like I said, it's historical, it's fantastical, it's a romance. I'm really, really excited about this. The cover is really beautiful. I've been anticipating this one for a long time, and I'm so excited that it's finally almost time. So that's what I'm going to read for a queer book. Prompt number 8, which would have been my last one, but is not now since I had to skip a prompt. So we're going to go with this one. And this is to read a romance book. Okay, so for romance, I had quite a few options, but I think I'm going to go with The Matzo Ball by Jean Meltzer. Hanukkah starts in November this year, so I figured this is the perfect time to pick it up. I think it'll be by the end of November. I'm usually craving some like holiday romances, and since Hanukkah is kind of early this year, I feel like this is going to be the perfect book to pick up. This is also one of my most anticipated romances of the whole year. Not only is this an Own Voices book for the Jewish rep, but the heroine also has chronic illness, which I love to read about chronic illness in books. This follows a girl who is an author, and she writes almost exclusively Christmas stories, but her publisher tasks her to finally write the Hallmark version of a Hanukkah romance. And in order to get inspiration, she decides to attend the Matzo Ball, and there she runs into this guy, and I think they have like an enemies to lovers romance. I believe she considers him like an arch enemy or something like that. But yeah, chronic illness rep, Jewish rep. I'm all about this book. I'm really, really excited. I did get an arc of this, but I wasn't able to get to it, and I've just kind of been waiting now until this time of year because I figured it would be a good holiday read. So that's my pick for romance. And then finally, the last prompt. Let's go with this one. You have got to be kidding me. So I got pull another, which means that I am picking 10 prompts. I don't even know if you can see that. There you go. So it's not my last one. So prompt number 9. Apparently my TBR jar hates me this month. I knew that was going to happen. All right. Prompt number 9 is a book that is set in the past. So for a book set in the past, I'm going to go with Bad Girls Never Say Die by Jennifer Mathieu. This book was so kindly sent to me by the publisher, and this is set in 1964 in Houston, and this is a loose reimagining gender-bent twist on The Outsiders. And all I really know about this is it's kind of like a feminist twist on The Outsiders, so you're following an all-female cast set in 1964 Texas. And that's all I know about it. I did a couple of author like interview things with Jennifer Mathieu. I've watched her talk about this book quite a bit, and it just sounds so cool. This is the author of Moxie, and so she's known for writing really powerful feminist books. This one is super short. I'm really excited about this. I haven't read or seen The Outsiders in years, but from what I understand, this isn't like a retelling necessarily. It's just kind of inspired by it. And then for real, the last book on this TBR, there's no more pulling others or anything. So this is for sure the last one. Prompt number 10. How did we get here? Let's go with this one. And this is a book with a dark cover, which is pretty much this entire top shelf. So that worked out. So for this last prompt, I am going to go with Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. This is a standalone YA fantasy that came out in October. I had an arc of this. I never was able to get to it. Margaret Rogerson wrote A Sorcery of Thorns as well as An Enchantment of Ravens. And it seems like all of her books are vastly different, but I really like The Sorcery of Thorns. So I really wanted to give her new book a read. I know nothing about this, so I'm just going to read a little bit of the inside flap. It says, our heroine is training to be a Grey Sister, a nun who cleanses the body of the deceased so that their souls can pass on, otherwise they will rise as spirits. She would rather deal with the dead than the living, who trade whispers about her scarred hands and troubled past. But when her convent is attacked by possessed soldiers, she defends it by accidentally awakening an ancient spirit bound to a saint's relic. That being now threatens to possess her at any moment if she lets her guard down. So that sounds super interesting. This sounds much darker than her last ones, but it is a standalone. This one's a little bit longer. I want to say it's like 400 pages, but that's not too bad, especially for a standalone fantasy. So this is what I'm going to put on for dark cover. Okay, so this is what ended up being on my TBR. A couple of these are placeholders, and then I also have 2 more e-arcs. That got out of control quickly, especially considering I still really need to read When Night Breaks, as well as Good as Dead. And I have a couple of rereads down here. And yeah, this TBR got out of hand quickly. Man, I really hope I have a much better reading month in November than I did in October, because this got intense really quick. So that is it for my November TBR. Let me know what you're reading in the month of November. Let me know if you are participating in anything, or like what your reading plans are for the end of the year. And I will catch y'all in my next video. Bye.